What if I told you that the fastest way to make them want you is to step back, not to chase? I know it sounds counterintuitive. Your instincts scream to fix things, to talk, to show them how much you care. But in reality, the more you reach out, the further they drift away. The breakup isn't just painful, it feels like you're losing control. Yet hidden inside this chaos is a golden opportunity. Not to win them back by force, but to make them realize on their own exactly what they've walked away from. Space isn't distance, space is power, if you know how to use it. Right now, you're standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to desperation, clinging, and deeper rejection. The other, to composure, confidence, and the irresistible pull of someone who knows his own worth. If you're ready to choose strength over neediness, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I control my emotions, not the world. Let's dive in. Number 1. The surprise of growth, shocking them with who you've become. Nothing unsettles someone more than realizing the person they thought they knew has changed beyond recognition. When you use the time apart not to chase, not to beg, but to quietly grow, mentally, physically, and emotionally, you force them to confront something they did not expect. You are no longer who you were. Gone is the version of you that was predictable, always available, and dependent on their validation. In its place stands someone who has outgrown the old patterns. Someone stronger, calmer, and more attractive. Heraclitus said, "The only constant is change." Most people underestimate this truth until it stares them in the face. When they finally notice that you are no longer the person they left behind, they will be caught off guard. The shock comes not just from your improved appearance or achievements, but from your energy. Your presence now carries the quiet strength of someone who no longer needs to prove anything. Imagine you were once like an open book, every page easily read and every thought exposed. But after this transformation, you've become more like a classic novel. Still the same book, yet deeper, richer, and more compelling than they remember. This forces them to pause, to reflect, to wonder, how did I miss this? Here's the opportunity you have. Growth isn't just about self-improvement, it's about creating a shift in how others perceive you. When you rise from the breakup stronger and more grounded, you don't need to announce it. Your actions, your demeanor, and your silence will do all the speaking. You quietly challenge their old assumptions about you, and that alone plants a deep seed of curiosity. What can you do? Keep going. Double down on your personal development, not out of spite, but because you owe it to yourself. Build your body, sharpen your mind, deepen your sense of purpose. This transformation is not for them, it's for you. But the irony? They will notice, they will question, they will want to know who you've become. And when they do, you won't need to explain. You will embody the answer. Psychologically, this is where the power shifts. You're no longer waiting, you're no longer hoping, you're living. And in doing so, you've become the person they never expected, and exactly the person they can't ignore. Now speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 2, the magnetic pull of true independence. Few things in life are as captivating as someone who no longer needs others for validation. When you stop relying on someone else to feel happy, when you no longer seek approval to feel worthy, you become magnetic without even trying. The moment you take ownership of your own joy, you change the entire dynamic, not just in your relationship, but in how people view you. Nietzsche once wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." When you find your why beyond the relationship, when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally project a sense of purpose and self-respect that others find irresistible. The desperation they may have once sensed is replaced by calm, quiet confidence. You're no longer here because you need anyone, you are here because you choose to be. And that is power. Think of it like this. When you were constantly available, always looking for validation, you may have unintentionally made yourself too easy to reach, too predictable. But now, without even realizing it, you've shifted. You no longer orbit around them. You have become your own gravitational force. People, especially the one who left, will sense this change. They will notice that you are no longer reacting, no longer chasing, but simply living, and that shift creates an undeniable pull. Here's the opportunity you hold right now. Independence does not mean isolation, it means choosing to invest in your own growth first. When you live life on your terms, when you stop allowing your happiness to be at the mercy of someone else's attention, you build an energy around you that attracts, not because you seek it, but because others can't help but be drawn to it. What should you do? Stay focused on your own path. Channel your attention into things that make you feel alive. Your body, your mind, your work, your passions. Make your life full without depending on anyone else to complete it. Ironically, the more self-sufficient you become, the more curious they will be. They will begin to wonder how you found this strength and why you seem so different. And in that moment, you've regained the power, not because you pushed for it, but because you became it. Psychologically, this shift is magnetic. Independence is attractive because it signals to the world, I am whole on my own, and those who once overlooked you will find it impossible to ignore. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 3, the quiet jealousy of your confidence. Confidence has a strange effect on people. It commands attention without ever needing to ask for it. And when that confidence comes after heartbreak, after silence, after you've walked away and worked on yourself, it becomes even more potent. Those who thought they knew you will begin to notice that something is different. You walk differently, you speak differently, you no longer seek approval, you simply exist with certainty, and whether they admit it or not, they feel it. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Self-trust is the first secret of success." What you're building right now is not just external progress, it's inner certainty. The kind of certainty that doesn't scream or demand attention, but pulls people in like gravity. And here's the reality they didn't expect. They are no longer the one with the emotional upper hand. Your quiet, steady confidence forces them to look inward and ask themselves, how did he get here without me? Picture someone watching from afar as you carry yourself with composure and strength. They'll begin to feel something they may not openly share, jealousy, not out of spite, but out of longing. They see you doing exactly what they didn't think you would, thriving. This jealousy is not about wanting to bring you down, but about realizing that you've tapped into something they may lack, self-respect and emotional independence. Here's the opportunity you have now. Your confidence, rebuilt without their validation, creates a psychological pull. You don't need to announce your progress. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your energy says it all. And this energy makes them wonder how you've managed to become so self-assured, so calm, so magnetic without them. It plants seeds of admiration, longing, and even envy. What can you do? Keep walking forward. Keep building. Keep choosing yourself. The most powerful version of you is the one who doesn't need attention to feel confident, but whose very presence commands it. This kind of energy doesn't just attract people back into your life. It makes them question why they ever left. Psychologically, this shift triggers a fundamental human response. People admire and desire what they lack. Your newfound confidence will shine in a way that can't be faked or forced, and those who once overlooked you will quietly, and sometimes painfully, want to be close to it again. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 4, the power of being unpredictable. When someone thinks they know you, they stop paying close attention. Familiarity often breeds complacency, and without realizing it, they may have boxed you into a version of yourself they thought would never change. But the moment you stop following the old patterns, when you stop reaching out, stop reacting as expected, and begin living differently, you instantly disrupt that familiarity. Suddenly, you are no longer predictable. You've become someone they can't quite figure out. Alan Watts once said, "The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it." And that's exactly what you're doing. You've stopped playing the role they expected, and instead, you've started living on your own terms. The places you go, the people you meet, the projects you pursue, they no longer have a map to track you. This unpredictability becomes magnetic. They start wondering, what's going on with him? Why does he seem different? And these questions will echo louder the longer you stay silent and focused. Imagine watching a movie you think you've seen 100 times, but suddenly the story takes a turn you never expected. You're hooked again, not because you were forced to be, but because now you're curious. This is exactly the psychological shift you create when you no longer act as they predict. It triggers interest, attention, and even a little bit of fear. The fear of losing their place in your story. Here's the opportunity you have now. By embracing unpredictability, you become impossible to ignore. You're no longer the person they assumed would always be there. You've stepped into a role where you lead your own life, without explanations, without seeking validation. Every move you make from this point forward is on your terms, and that makes you someone worth paying attention to. What can you do? Continue embracing change. Surprise even yourself. Try new things, take on new challenges, and live without feeling the need to explain your every step. The more unpredictable you become, not in a chaotic way, but in a purposeful way, the more you will stand out in their mind. You'll no longer be the predictable character in their story. You'll be the one they can't stop thinking about. Psychologically, unpredictability is powerful. It creates curiosity, and curiosity naturally breeds attention. When they don't know what you're thinking, where you're headed, or how you've changed, you regain control. And nothing is more attractive than someone who moves confidently without needing to be understood. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 5. The awakening, when they finally see what they've lost. At first, your absence may have seemed like a small inconvenience to them. Maybe they assumed you would circle back, return to the old dynamics and continue playing your familiar role. But as time stretches on and you remain silent, while simultaneously growing, they slowly begin to realize something they didn't expect. You were more valuable than they ever admitted, even to themselves. It's often said, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And this couldn't be more true in moments like these. They start to notice the small, irreplaceable things, the morning texts, the emotional support, the quiet encouragement you gave without asking for anything in return. It wasn't just your presence, it was your steady, reliable energy that gave them comfort. Now, with that gone, they are left with a hollow space no one else can seem to fill. Imagine having a favorite coffee shop you visit every day. The aroma, the atmosphere, the familiar faces. It all feels ordinary until one day it shuts its doors without notice. Suddenly you find yourself missing things you once took for granted. That's what happens to them when you step back. Not to punish them, but because you're choosing yourself. They realize the warmth, the support, and the stability you provided wasn't something easily replaced. Here's the opportunity you now have. You don't have to lift a finger for them to realize the gravity of their loss. By living your life fully and refusing to return to old patterns, you force them to reflect on what's missing. Not just a person, but the presence and contribution you uniquely provided. You don't need to remind them, life will. What can you do? Continue moving forward without seeking their validation. Stay committed to your own journey, knowing that their recognition of your value is no longer your responsibility. You've already given enough. Now let them sit with the realization that no one else offers what you once did, and may never again. Psychologically, this is one of the most sobering stages for them. They won't just feel nostalgia, they'll feel regret. The deeper they reflect, the more they'll realize how much they miscalculated. And you'll already be too focused on your own path to be waiting for their acknowledgement. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind. No one else does. Number 6. The pull. To join your new journey. Something remarkable happens when you commit fully to your personal growth. As you advance in silence, building your strength, expanding your life, and realigning your purpose, you naturally create a new path. And without realizing it, you become someone who no longer fits the old story. You are no longer the version of yourself they knew. You've evolved into someone with vision, confidence, and direction. And when they notice, a powerful feeling takes hold of them. They want to be part of it. At first, they may not understand this desire. It often starts as mere curiosity. They may see glimpses of you through social media, mutual friends, or even just through the energy you now carry when you show up in the world. But what draws them in isn't just your progress. It's the fact that you're walking this new path without needing them. You are on a journey they no longer have access to, and that, in itself, is intoxicating. The Stoics would remind you here that true power is found not in seeking attention, but in living according to your own values. Your growth isn't a tool for revenge, it's your birthright. You're no longer the man waiting for approval. You are now the man walking forward, letting the world catch up if it can. Picture a ship leaving the harbor. As it sails into open waters, those watching from the shore feel a mix of awe and regret. That ship is you. You are moving forward, not as an act of defiance, but as a natural result of choosing yourself. And the more you sail, the more they will wish to be on board. Here's the opportunity you hold now. Don't pause your journey for anyone. Let them want to catch up. Let them long to be part of this new chapter. And if they do attempt to return, let them see that the only way to stay is by respecting the man you've become, not the man you used to be. What should you do? Stay focused on your growth and let your actions speak louder than words. You don't need to convince anyone to notice. The life you are building will do that for you. Psychologically, this dynamic is undeniable. People are naturally drawn to those who have direction, who no longer chase but lead, and as you continue walking forward, they will have to decide whether they have the courage to follow. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind. No one else does. Number 7. The fear of being replaced. Their silent battle. As you continue your path of quiet growth, something inevitable begins to stir within them. Fear. It's not just the fear of losing touch with you, but the unsettling thought that someone else may now stand where they once did. This fear isn't always spoken, but it grows in the background of their mind, especially as they witness your evolution. They begin to ask themselves questions they can't easily answer. Has someone else noticed him already? What if I've lost him for good? This reaction is deeply human. When someone sees you thriving, living fully and radiating confidence, they naturally wonder who might now be drawn to your energy. You are no longer the person who lingered, who waited, who begged for attention. You've become someone valuable, and valuable things attract attention. This simple realization creates urgency. Suddenly, they aren't just missing you, they fear losing you to someone who sees your worth and doesn't make the same mistake they did. The Stoics would remind you this fear is not yours to carry. It is the natural consequence of their choices. Your role is not to manipulate or to fuel this fear intentionally, but simply to remain committed to your path. You are not in competition with anyone else. You are not working to make them jealous. You are simply living, and in doing so, you allow life to show them what they may have lost. Picture someone standing at a station watching a train pull away, realizing too late that it was the only train heading where they truly wanted to go. That train is you, and now as you move forward, they are left behind. Not because you pushed them out, but because you stayed on course when they stepped off. What can you do? Do nothing more than you're already doing. Keep growing. Keep choosing yourself. Let them wrestle with the consequences of their decisions. If they truly see your value, they will find their own motivation to return. But it will no longer be because you stood still and waited. It will be because you moved forward without them. Psychologically, this fear of being replaced is often the catalyst for action. When they realize someone else could step into the space they once took for granted, they will have to decide whether to let go forever or to fight for a place beside you once again. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind. No one else does. Number 8. The unplanned desire to reconnect. At this point, something unexpected begins to emerge. They want to come back. But here's the difference. It's no longer out of guilt, habit, or control. This time it's fueled by genuine longing. They've felt the gap your absence created. They've noticed your growth, your calmness, and the strength you now carry effortlessly. And deep down they realize that you are no longer the same person they once knew. You've outgrown the version of yourself who used to need them, and that's exactly what draws them back. The beauty of this stage is that you didn't have to force it. The desire to reconnect wasn't planted by manipulation, jealousy, or mind games. It came naturally. By walking away and choosing yourself, you've created the very conditions for them to see you through new eyes. And now, what they want is not the old relationship, they want the new you. The Stoics would tell you, let things come and go. Marcus Aurelius knew that the right people will stay, not because you chased them, but because they saw your value and chose to be there. And here you are. You didn't chase, you didn't beg, you built yourself quietly. And now they are drawn back, unsure of how to approach you, because you've become more than they expected. Picture a garden once neglected. It starts to bloom after being left alone to grow wild and free. Passers-by begin to notice its beauty, not because it called for attention, but because its quiet transformation could not be ignored. That garden is you. Your strength, your self-respect, your refusal to chase have made you stand out, and now they want back in. Here's the opportunity. This is your decision. They may reach out, but you now have the power to choose. The version of you today isn't driven by longing or desperation. You hold the cards. If they wish to return, it must be on new terms, terms defined by respect, growth, and genuine connection. What should you do? Stay steady. Don't lose yourself in the emotion of their return. Let them prove that they are willing to meet you where you are now, not where you used to be. The reconnection should not be about rescuing them from regret, but about seeing if they can truly belong in your new world. Psychologically, this is where true attraction blooms. You've become someone worth chasing, not because you tried to be, but because you became it. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 9. The unexpected shift in power. As time passes and you continue growing silently, without asking for attention or validation, the balance of power begins to shift in ways you may not even notice. You were once the one holding on, hoping, maybe even fearing the loss. But now, you are no longer the same person you were. You've outgrown the cycle of waiting, pleasing, or hoping for reconciliation, and surprisingly, this shift doesn't just empower you, it creates a ripple effect, making them feel the very vulnerability you used to carry. This is what the Stoics always taught. Power is not about control over others, but mastery over yourself. Marcus Aurelius would remind you that the strength to remain calm and steady, even in chaos, is the highest form of power. You've done exactly that. Without trying to manipulate or force anything, you've shown that your happiness, peace, and growth are independent of anyone else's choices. And whether they admit it or not, they feel it. Imagine standing at a poker table where you were once the weakest player, constantly reacting to every move, hoping to stay in the game. Now, without needing to bluff or overplay, you've become the one with the strongest hand. You no longer need to prove anything. Your presence, your calm, and your steady progress have flipped the entire situation. They are now the ones watching and wondering, what if I was wrong? Here's your opportunity. You don't need to flaunt your growth. True power doesn't seek to prove itself. It just is. Keep doing what you're doing, improving, evolving, and letting life unfold without forcing it. They will feel the shift even if you say nothing. And when they finally realize that you are no longer holding on, the weight of their choices will press on them in ways you could never have achieved through words. What should you do? Maintain your silence, your boundaries, and your focus on your own journey. Let them sit with the discomfort of realizing you no longer need them, but they might still want you. This silent power is not about revenge. It's about showing up for yourself fully, with no need to prove anything to anyone. Psychologically, nothing draws attention more than quiet confidence. When you no longer seek validation, you become the person who commands it effortlessly. And those who once underestimated you will now find themselves unsure of where they stand. Now, speak out and comment below, "I control my mind, no one else does." Number 10, the power to choose, no longer needing, only choosing. Reaching this point, you've done what many fail to do. You've outgrown the old version of yourself. The man who once clung to the hope of reconciliation, who felt incomplete without their attention, no longer exists. What stands in his place is someone stronger, calmer, and fully grounded in himself. And now, if they desire to return, you are no longer approaching the situation from need, but from choice. This is the ultimate position of power. The Stoics would call this apatheia, the state of being undisturbed by external circumstances. You no longer fear their absence, nor crave their validation. You've accepted what is, and from this acceptance you've built a life worth living. When they finally recognize who you've become, when they see the man who walks without seeking permission, they will want to be part of your life again. But now, you will decide if that's even something you want. Picture someone climbing a mountain, only to turn around and realize they no longer need the view they were chasing. The real reward wasn't the view, but the strength they gained along the climb. That's you. You've stopped climbing to impress anyone. You climb because it's who you are now, and those who once doubted you, ignored you, or even walked away will feel that shift deep inside. Here's the opportunity you now fully own. You don't have to accept anyone back just because they return. The power is yours. They are not entitled to the new, evolved version of you simply because they regret leaving. The decision must come from you, knowing that you are whole either way. What should you do? Remain anchored in your purpose. Don't open the door because you feel lonely, nostalgic, or pressured. Only open it if you genuinely believe the new connection serves your path. You owe it to yourself not to return to the person you were, but to honor the person you've become. Psychologically, this is where true transformation is visible. You are no longer attached to the outcome. Whether they return or not, you win, because you have already chosen yourself. And ironically, this detachment is often what makes people long for you even more. Not because you're pushing them away, but because you've become the kind of person no one wants to lose again. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. You started believing that giving them space meant losing them for good. But now you realize space was never the danger. It was the doorway to freedom, to power, and to becoming someone they can't ignore. They didn't take anything from you. They simply gave you the perfect moment to reclaim yourself. If you're ready to keep becoming stronger, like this video, subscribe and comment below. I am unstoppable. Stand tall, keep growing. The future isn't waiting, it's watching.